If you're looking for small business financing, I want you to think about One West Finance. And here is a lender that can really help you net a nice sum of money with low doc, with no doc, or whatever. I mean, it depends on the type of loan that you want to get. It also depends on the industry you're in, okay? But One West Finance, what I love about One West Finance is that they give you options. And if you are actually, if you're applying for a small business loan, you want to get options. Like if you don't have good credit, or if you don't have financials, or if you don't have some kind of paperwork, you want a lender that gives you options. And so One West Finance actually gives you that option. Okay. So think about One West Finance as an online lending marketplace, let's say marketing marketplace that offers multiple small business loan options through a network of lenders. So One West is not really a direct lender itself. I mean, there are a few deals where they actually may lend to you directly, but 90%, 95% of the deals they have that happen on the platform actually happen through their network of lenders. Okay. So this is a marketplace. This is an online lending marketplace. Okay. So the companies and services include quick applications and approval and fast funding within 42 to 48 rather 48 to 72 hour. So you will have approval. Okay. So most products, most funding programs, most business loans, most business lines of credit, most whatever whatever you apply for on One West Finance actually gets approved within 48 to 72 hours. Okay. This is really good. And so how many lenders do they have? Well, they have about 50 to 70. I mean, the list keeps growing because they're constantly adding new lenders to the network. Okay. So One West Finance, on that note, it's kind of similar to Lendio. It's kind of similar to Clarify Capital. It's kind of similar to NBC, National Business Capital. Okay, One West excels at getting customers approved, often with multiple loan offers. So just be aware of that. Now, costs can vary significantly because this is not a direct lender, right? So it depends on the product you qualify for and the services that you actually get through that product. So let me explain a little more how One West Finance does actually work. So you can apply for one of six business loan programs through this marketplace. And so if you are unsure which program you want, One West will help you determine the right program with question and answer prompts. Okay, this is kind of cool because you have a lending marketplace that actually has gotten your back. Okay, they'll guide you. So let me give you a few details on the different programs offered through One West Finance. So you have unsecured working capital, you have commercial real estate loans, you have accounts receivable financing, you have lines of credit, you have equipment financing, and you do have SBA loans. So if you think about unsecured working capital, you can actually borrow from 5,000 to $1 million, and the terms you have 2 to 24 months, and the rates starts at about 18%, and you can actually get funded within 48 hours if you go through the unsecured working capital loan program. Okay, so this working capital program provides a lump sum of money based on your sales history. It really indicates that customers receive about 125% of their monthly sales revenue. And unsecured means it doesn't require any collateral. And interest is determined using factor rates that doesn't list, like those factor rate don't list the range. Okay, so something to, if you go to One West Finance website, you have to really talk to someone to actually have more information. Commercial real estate loans can net you anywhere from $100,000 to $20 million, and the terms six to 60 months. Rates start about 6%, and the time to fund 2 to 3 weeks. Accounts receivable financing 10,000 to $10 million. Time to fund 2 weeks, and the rates start at about 5%. You also have lines of credit. So here you have 5,000 all the way to half a million, and the terms 3 to 24 months, and the rates starts at about 6%, and the time to fund 48 hours. You have also equipment financing. Equipment financing. So here the amounts goes from 10,000 to $5 million, and 5 to 60 months, and the rates start at about 7%. And the time to fund actually 1 week. And finally, you have SBA loans. SBA loans go from 30,000 to 5 million, 10 to 25 years in terms of repayment window takes longer. The rates starts at about 5%, and that's because it's a government-backed loan, but the time to fund is longer, so it might take actually a 1 month to actually fund. So let me explain to you the qualifications for One West. So if you are interested in qualifying for a program, you need to have certain minimums. Okay. So like many alternatives lending sources, One West offers lower qualification thresholds than, let's say, traditional lenders like banks and credit unions. Like if you go to One West, the qualification criteria are way, quote unquote, better than if you are going to Chase or Wells Fargo or Bank of America. So the One West website indicates it will help you find business loans for any credit score, but it depends on the lender. So for unsecured working capital, the credit score minimum is 500, time in business 3 months, and the revenue $10,000 monthly. Required documentation, business application, and the last 3 months of business bank statements. For commercial real estate loans, credit score 500, time in business is not really listed, and revenue is also not listed because this is a collateralized loan, so chances are you will be approved. The required documentation, you have a 1003 application, personal financial statements, real estate schedule, and the previous 2 years of business tax returns. So your 1065 or your 1120S or 1120. What about accounts receivable financing? Credit score, there's no minimum. Time in business, 2 years, and revenue is not listed. So the required documentation, business debt schedule, 2 years of business tax returns, accounts receivable reports, and year-to-date financial statements. For line of credit score 500, time in business 3 months, revenue $10,000 monthly, and they want you to have 6 months bank account statements and direct connection to online banking. That's the preferred way actually. For equipment financing, the credit score is about 550, time in business 1 year, so it's a little shorter than the other one. Time in business 1 year, the revenue $10,000 monthly, and the required documentation actually is 6 months bank statements, equipment invoice, and the most recent business tax return. And finally, SBA loans. Now the FICO score requirement is higher. Okay, 600 to 650. Time in business 3 years, and the revenue not listed. So you got to have 6 months bank account statements, business debt schedule, 2 years of business tax returns, and year-to-date business financials. So how do you apply for One West Finance this year? How do you get the loan that you want through this lending network? So if you're an applicant, you must first create an account on the One West website. Okay, so you go to the company's website and just create an account. And so the thing is that you cannot actually access some of the features for a business loan application if you don't have an account. Many of the features are only available after creating an account. So what happens here is that once you create an account, you will provide information about your business, including your industry and the number of employees. So very straightforward. Create an account, select a loan type. I give you the 6 loan types that are available on One West Finance: unsecured working capital, commercial real estate loans, accounts receivable financing, lines of credit, equipment financing, and SBA loans. Okay. Now, there are some cases where the loan that you want, the specific funding program you want, is not available on One West Finance website. You have a section where it says Other. So choose the other. Okay, click on the Other. So once you select the loan type, apply and compare, so you can decide to accept or decline any offers after applied. And so post-funding, you will set up automatic payments via ACH transfer from your business bank account. And the payment schedule depends on the product you receive. So it depends on how you structure things also. Now, unsecured working capital and lines of credit have either daily or weekly payments, and SBA loans have monthly payments. The website doesn't specify repayment schedules for equipment financing or CRE loans. CRE loans, commercial real estate loans. So accounts receivable repayment occurs. The accounts receivable repayment occurs when your customers pay their invoices. Now, One West advertises an early payment discount for unsecured working capital. So CRE loans, equipment financing, and SBA 7 loans will follow an amortization schedule. So paying a line of credit draws early saves on interest, the same as with a credit card. So what are the advantages and the disadvantages of actually getting a business loan through One West Finance this year? I want to first talk to you about the advantages. So the application process takes about 10 to 15 minutes. So this is really fast, very streamlined. You don't have to submit multiple loan applications. Just submit one, and it gets dispatched to tens of lenders. Okay, 50 to 75 lenders. You can receive approval or denial for most products within 24 hours. 24 hours. That's really good because then you have a clear idea of where you stand. And so One West Finance can fund some loans within 48 hours of approval. Okay. The interest rates are competitive with similar lending platforms, including Lendio, National Business Capital, but also Clarify Capital. So as a lending marketplace, you can apply to multiple lenders with a single application, right? Streamlined application process. And One West's Able platform will send you to its lender partners where you will most likely qualify. And it offers programs for every credit score level. So it doesn't matter if you have a credit score of 300 or a credit score of 550 or 850 or 850, you will still be funded. So what are the disadvantages of One West Finance? The thing is that while the rates are competitive with alternative lenders, the costs are still higher than with the bank or credit union, right? I mean, you will never get a rate you will never get a rate at an alternative lender that's actually lower than what you will get with a bank or credit union. So while One West Finance provides helpful product information, getting an accurate cost estimate is really difficult. Okay, so this is something to really to keep in mind, especially if you are exploring what they have, what kind of offers they have. And some products require weekly or daily repayments, which can really have a detrimental effect on your cash flow. And One West also doesn't provide factor rate changes, instead representing them, okay, as a simple interest. So something to really to be watchful for as well. So what are the pros and cons here? Let's quickly delve into the pros and cons, especially from a small business owner's perspective. So the pros first, you have an easy application and quick turnaround. So like I said, you are able to get funded real fast. And so if you need money in an emergency, or you just need money real fast, you can rely on One West Finance. You have multiple lending products available, right? Unsecured working capital, commercial real estate loans, accounts receivable financing, lines of credit, equipment financing, and also SBA loans. And what are the cons here? Well, you do have higher rates. And sorry, let me still continue on the pros. The costs are competitive with alternative lenders. You have fast funding within 48 to 72 hours for some products. And you do have low credit score requirements, okay? This is an important element. And what are the cons? Well, you do have higher rates and fees than traditional lenders. I've said this before, but that's true. Even when you compare One West Finance to online lenders, you still have a lower APR if you go to an online lender. You do have some kind of lack of clarity on terms and factor rates changes. You got to create an online profile to apply, and this is something that's really it's a bummer because their competitors don't really force you to create an account. I mean, One West Finance wants to have your data, wants you to have wants you to provide as much info about your business as possible, just before exploring the kind of loan that you want. And that's just because they want to put you in a sales funnel. They want to put you in that sales funnel and start actually getting your data and using that data for whatever you can imagine. Okay, but hey, listen, it is what it is, and this is their business model. As long as it doesn't hurt, it's there's nothing wrong with it. So one thing you need to understand here is that One West Finance is actually a legitimate alternative lending marketplace. Okay, so is it safe? Yes. Is it legit? Yes, it is legit. Okay, and can you trust them? Yes. Do I recommend them? Yes. So the company actually has been accredited by the Triple B Better Business Bureau since 2020. So it does have an A plus rating on their website. The website itself is encrypted and secure, and they provide a policy on information sharing. Okay, so this is something to really think about. And so what I want to say here is that you need to understand that if you need other funding programs that One West is not actually providing, you can apply elsewhere. For instance, you can apply for invoice factoring, something that One West Finance doesn't provide. You can apply for merchant cash advances elsewhere. You can apply for revenue-based business loans elsewhere. So this is you gotta see what One West Finance offers and what they don't offer. Or if you get denied, right? Because there could be a situation where you get denied. Normally, with 50 to 75 lenders, it's kind of tough for you to be denied. But hey, listen, it does happen. It does happen, and if you get denied, what I want to say that you do have option. You have options. What I want you to do is to let me know. Comment in. I want you to comment below. Let me know in the comment section if you are denied, or you just want to have more information. You are still seeking clarity on the topic. Let me know, and I will certainly fill you in. I'll give you more info, especially especially because once I have the niche you're in, the industry you're in, or the city and state where you're commenting from, I should be able to give you let's say, a more direct piece of advice on how to get a loan this year, or how to really get the loan fast too, because you do not want the application to drag on and on and on and on and on. And at the end, you just realize that you just are denied. Like they do not even approve you, and they just waste your time, during all those months, right? So let me know in the comment section, and I'll just fill you in. I mean, there are plenty of other lending platforms. Like I said, I just give you a few of them. Like when I said lend you, or National Business Capital, or Clarify Capital, you have others. You have yeah, you do have a lot of lending platforms out there. So in conclusion to this conversation, I spoke to you about One West Finance. This was a review. I explained to you what One West Finance is, how the platform works, what are the qualifications for their funding program, how to apply, what the advantages and what are the disadvantages, and the pros and cons. Thank you so much. God bless you. I will see you next time. Until then, remember, stay marvelous.